Hi there, dear Sagittarius, fire sign Sag during air sign Gemini, your opposite sign. Peace, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising signs. My name is Ankhi Ma'at Shepsunu. For those of you who don't know me, or you may know me as Mama Tonya, this is your Gemini message this is the Sagittarius message during Gemini season. So to all my sun, moon, and rising signs, Sagittarius, everybody's a Gemini, including you. And so no matter what your sun sign is, we are all living during Gemini season. And Gemini is somewhere in your birth chart, dear Sag. And so if you know your natal chart personally, you may know that Gemini is in a specific house in your chart. But generally speaking, dear Sagittarius, Gemini is in the 7th house for Sagittarians as a whole. And so this is the wisdom that Gemini has for you, dear Sagittarius, this season. Okay, so dear Sag, Gemini is in the 7th house, generally speaking, right? So for Sagittarians, with Gemini on the 7th house is the house of your relationships. It is the place that kind of expresses or shows or demonstrates how you relate in your relationships, like one-to-one relationships. You and your boo, you and your spouse, you and your boo, you and one other child, you and a business partner. Like, what do your one-to-one relationships look like, dear Sag? What version of you, Sagittarius, shows up in your relationships? And specifically, I would actually encourage you, all Sagittarius, rising sun and moon, to really kind of do a scan in your mind of like the top 5 relationships in your life. You and your mother, you and your spouse, you and that one coworker that you work closely with all the time, you and your business partner, you and your child number 1, you and child number 2, what do all of your one-to-one relationships look like? And I feel in this moment to share, dear Sag, what version of you shows up in these relationships? Because I feel like for some of you, like some folks that you're relating to are getting one version of you and other folks are getting another version. And what I mean by that, not that you're being fake or anything like that. And I get it. Depending on the relationship, your husband gets a different relationship from you, or your spouse gets a different kind of connection from you than hopefully a coworker. Okay. Not in your business, but, but generally, I feel like you Sagittarius need to do, it'll be good to do like an internal assessment. Are there parts of you that show up in certain relationships where you're showing up as the version of you that you feel they want to see or that you feel is acceptable, which is kind of crazy because Sag is such a fire sign. And almost every Sag I know, at some point, if they're doing that, they can't take it no more. And they're just like, damn it, this is who I am, deal with it. So I don't know, to keep maybe that explosive energy from coming forward in a way that you may not want, really look at how you're showing up again in your relationships. I feel like for some of you, this may not be for all Sagittarius, but for some of you, it may be like you feel like you can't bring a certain part of you to a certain relationship that you want to. So you may feel like, wow, every time I'm engaging with this other person or in the same space with this other person, there's a part of me that plays small. And so this Gemini season, dear Sagittarius, I feel like you're being kind of called to look at the ways in which you're either playing small in your one-to-one relationships, or all of you is not really showing up. And ask yourself, why? Is it that you don't feel comfortable? You don't feel like enough? You don't feel like, I don't know. There is an extended version of this. So if you want the extended version of this message, and I'll be pulling an oracle card to kind of look at this more deeply, make sure you go to the description of this video where you can download the extended version of this message for a very small love offering. But anyway, but generally, dear Sag, for Gemini to be on your 7th house, Gemini is a sign of communication and talking and sharing ideas and thoughts and information and being able to self-express. And so this may be a time where, dear Sag, where you are looking at how are you able to communicate with the people who are closest to you, and really not just communicating information like, who's picking up the kids today, who filed that report, not just data, but really like, how are you sharing yourself? How are you showing up as yourself? How are you sharing and self-expressing and being self-expressive, in your one-to-one relationships? And so we're going to explore this more deeply in the extended reading. Again, if you're interested in that, dear Sagittarius, you can go to my link tree, which is down below, linktree/the Tonya Poole, and go to the shop. And then you can download the extended version of this message. I haven't done everybody's sign, including you, in a while. So I don't know. I came forward on this Gemini season. I don't know, because Gemini deals with communication and talk and all that stuff. So I felt called to talk and share these messages. But if you want to go further, definitely get the extended. Also, in the link below is the link to Portals to Power. Oh my gosh, that's my new heart. There's a lot of fire and love over in Portals to Power right now. Portals to Power is an e-course that I designed for people who are at the crossroads of moving from who they used to be to the leveled up version of who they know that they are being called to grow and expand into. And so if you're interested in that, definitely go to the Portals to Power link that is down below. And what I did for you was I included the introduction, the course introduction, absolutely free. You can listen to it on that page that is linked below. And after listening to the course introduction, if it feels right to you and it feels like something that you want to take further, then I highly encourage that you actually sign up for Portals to Power, especially right now while it's at the introductory price. But I want you to listen to that introduction first, because I only want the people who feel called to Portals to Power, who feel like it's for them to enroll. So if it feels right, enroll, and then you'll get all of that there. So for those of you who are going to the extended, the audio extended of this message will be available in the shop very soon, or right now, depending on when you're watching this. And so until we speak again, dear Sagittarius, I'm wishing you so much peace and love.